Alright guys, welcome to video number 7 in our series of videos here. At this point we're finally going to start getting into a little bit of CSS. So we're catching up with the book and chapter 1 here. And we should be back online with the pace of the class hopefully here in the next few days. So moving forward and everything looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and create my CSS file here. This is where we left off in the last chapter. As you can see, I've actually already created one, so I'm going to delete this and do it over for you guys. Alright, and one of the nice things about the Notepad++ that's different from Notepad and even TextEdit, and I'll show you guys here in a second, close this, is that you can have multiple files open and they'll show up here on this line, so you have multiple tabs open. So if I create a new file here, it just pops up right there. So we're going to go to File and save this as our CSS file. Alright, and I'm going to name it main.css. So why did I name it main.css and not something else? Well, I'm going to use just one CSS style sheet for this flag football website that I'll be working on with you guys. And I don't need multiple CSS sheets, but you should name it something relevant to yours. You can name it main, you can name it layout, you can name it whatever you like, and you can have multiple style sheets. But we can talk about that later. So I'm going to make sure it's in the right folder, make sure it's in my CSS folder, and hit save. And now our CSS file is created. Voila, that's simple. So let's go back to the index.html here. And now we need to link the two files together so they can start talking to each other. Okay, so we're going to use the link element here. And excuse me if there's a delay sometimes between what I type and what I say. I'm doing voiceovers, so I need to remember what I said as I redo the voiceover. So I'm trying to make sure that these things are synced. So, alright, so there's the link element. And we need to tell it what type of file we are linking to. In this case, it's going to be a text file, and it's going to CSS. So we got to say text //CSS, and then we got to tell it in relation to this document what is it. So in relation to our HTML, this is going to be a style sheet. I got to spell that right. And then we got to tell it where it's located. So we got a CSS style sheet somewhere. So we're going to use the href attribute. Not the source attribute, like an image, in case you're wondering. And go ahead and hit CSS / main.css. So in relation to this file, I happen to know that it's inside of a folder called CSS. So in relation to this file, so I type in the folder name and the name of the file, which is main.css. Okay, it may be different for you depending on where you place your files. Next, we're going to add the media attribute. Okay, and for the purposes of this style sheet, it's going to be for monitors, so I'm going to say screen. Okay, and there's different types of media that we'll cover, and we'll go ahead and say /close. Alright, so this is our external style sheet link. Okay, so now the two files can communicate with each other. And we can actually start applying some styles to our IDs down here. Alright, so now that we have that set up, we can go into the book and I can start explaining some of the things he was reading. So we have our link to an external style sheet all ready to go, so let's go see what the author has to say. So I'm going to go ahead and start on chapter 1, page 8. The first 7 pages are his theories on things that we can skip over. Because I'll be teaching you my theories on things. Alright, so notice I'm on page 8, not page 36, down at the bottom. That's just my ebook reader and how it counts pages in its own weird way. Alright, so let's see. It says, I recommend naming using style sheets using single word lowercase names. This keeps the style sheet name simple and easy to remember. I used main.css for mine. Okay, I suggest using the name that describes the scope and purpose of the style sheet, which we did. In my case, I was just using one style sheet, so it's my main style sheet. Okay, if you have multiple style sheets, you can name it different sections of your website. Alright. To link to a style sheet in your HTML document, you can include the link element, which we did. Alright, so we're all good to go there. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here. And before I do that, the standard internet media type is text.css, which we also added. So let's see what he has. He has a few examples here of how to attach style sheets. You'll notice one of the examples he has here changes the media type to print We will be using that later. The media print would change your style sheet to use a different one when someone prints your page. So usually when someone prints your page, they want just the content, maybe the images, not necessarily the background images or background colors, or necessarily the different styles and colors of different headers. So you can make this a really simple CSS, make all your text black, just the content so they can print it out easily, and just get the information they need without wasting a lot of ink. So that's kind of nice. So let me just scroll down here. The next thing he has is the if it's Internet Explorer 6 tag. So this is a different example of a style sheet. This is in case your website tends to break in older browsers. Okay, so if this you need to make some changes, you can create a style sheet that's specific to Internet Explorer 6, and you don't need to rewrite the entire style sheet because you can just write the styles that are not working for you in Internet Explorer 6 and have them overwrite one of the other styles. Alright, so he also says for increased download performance, you may want to include page-specific styles in the style element instead of separate page-specific style sheets. Sorry about that, I'm talking a little faster than I recorded the video here. I'll let that catch up. Basically, what that means is what he's saying is you could use embedded styles at the top of your HTML document instead of linking to an external style sheet. In case you have, so instead of using this, in case you have styles that apply solely to that one page and not to your entire website. In my case, I don't think I'll have any of those, but I will show you an example of an embedded style sheet, and this would be one of the few corner cases where you may want to use it, and what he's explaining here at the bottom. Okay, next in the book, I'll probably create another video for you guys because this one's getting a little long for download. Is CSS syntax and how to write CSS. So we'll get to that in the next video.